What is up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been a very long time. I'll be the first one to put my hands in the air and say maybe I was a bit ambitious by saying I'll make 3 videos a week. I mean, I could and I still want to, but I would need an editor for that, and that was a realization that I had to make very early on, which I'm happy I did as well. That being the case, I'm going to be making 2 videos a week. The rest will be on my shorts platforms. Anyway, without any further ado, let me welcome you in properly. Apologies, I just needed to let you know. Welcome back to Up to Date. We keep you up to date with up-to-date updates with what happens around the world daily. So, before we get into it, roll the intro.
Up to daily, every line starts your day with a jazzy shine.
So, today we're talking about the most wanted fugitive that was caught in Cape Town, the kidnapping kingpin who was shot dead in Johannesburg. We get a bit into the updates of P. Diddy. We talk a little bit about a certain Tyler mixed with Perry, and we get the full update on what the hell is happening in the Middle East. Without any further ado, local news.
Local is lekker. Come together forever.
So, my peoples, right? Let's get back into it. Let's shake some of this rust off my body. Listen, winter is here. The 22nd of June, we officially hit winter. And it is quite cold, my brothers and sisters. You felt the first cold front, and that was relentless. So please do stay warm. Remember, winter is all about layers. So keep on them layers. Layer up, layer. It's not about a thick jacket. Maybe a thick jacket will help, yes, but if you don't have underlayers on, it's pointless, alright? So keep them underlayers on. And if you do see any homeless people out there, you pass anyone, or you do have any clothes, extra clothes to just give out that you're not gonna ever wear again, don't be shy. This winter's gonna be quite cold and quite wet. So yeah, getting into our first story of the day. Cape Town's most wanted fugitive has been caught. Now, when I say Cape Town's fugitive, that sounds like it's singular, right? Nope. There's two perpetrators. 2 of Cape Town's most deadly fugitives went from hiding to handcuffs. First up, we have Vuyolwetu Yesu Chukela. This young man was a taxi violence kingpin, and he was running around with a bounty of 100,000 rand on his head for orchestrating executions in Philippi and Nyanga. This man was on the run for 8 months until somebody tracked him down to Welkom. Now, I have a couple of stories of Welkom, dangerous place. And the perpetrator is now facing multiple charges of murder. And then, second runner-up, we have Ayazola China Fulu, linked to about more than 10 murders in Kailicha, of which his most brazen hit was gunning down Constable Ako Njingo, who was not just a police officer but also a soccer referee, and unfortunately gunned down while he was doing a patrol. China allegedly shot Ako in cold blood above his bulletproof vest, and the Hawks finally got a hand on him in April. So, why this is important? These guys, they're not just your petty thugs. They were crime syndicate architects. Chukela torched his rivals. Fulu terrorized townships. And their capture is a seismic blow to organized violence. But do stay alert, cause the hunt isn't over yet. Police are looking for a third perpetrator. Enter Ruja Ignatova. I don't know if I said that name right, but it sounds right. She's the crypto queen behind a $4 billion scam. She's still hiding in Cape Town apparently, and the FBI is offering a $5 million reward if you have information on her. $5 million. I mean, I don't know if I would do it because I don't know who Ruja is connected to, but I mean, for any of you out there looking for money, that's what the FBI said. So yeah, let's go down to Cape Town as we look up to higher grounds in Johannesburg. There's been some hectic movements, man. A kidnap kingpin has been gunned down in Johannesburg earlier last week. A high-stake police ambush in 4 ways in Johannesburg ended up with the kingpin being shot dead with a hail of bullets. I'm talking, they were having a proper gunfight. Meet Moro Mukambe Jr., Mozambique's most wanted abduction boss. For months and months on end, this man has evaded capture from both sides of the border. Until today, that is. The takedown was intense. South African Police Service Anti-Kidnapping Task Force tracked down Mukambe to a luxury area in Johannesburg. When Mukambe opened fire, they returned the fire, and fatally so. But what was inside the house? He had an arsenal of unlicensed guns, he had ammo, he had burner phones, and he had a slew of bank cards linked to ransom drops. But like, why was the man here? What should he? He was orchestrating the capture or the kidnapping of a Pakistani businessman who was snatched days ago in Pretoria West, shortly after a massive ransom was demanded. And we do suspect that his specialty is targeting high-value victims across South African and Mozambican borders. And that's his syndicate, ruthless, connected, and rich. However, there's still inconclusive things happening, like 2 accomplices were arrested in Carlswald. Cops seized their Mercedes-Benz SUV, which is commonly used as a kidnapping vehicle. However, the victim is still missing and the time is still ticking. On the plus side, this unit of SAPS does not fig around, bro. Since January alone, 170 plus suspects cuffed, 100 plus victims rescued, 1.2 million rand in ransom cash recovered, 40 plus crime vehicles impounded, and the kill of this kidnapped kingpin is the biggest victory yet. So, that's one monster down. But this war is far from over, my bro. Mukambe's network still has ghost cells lurking around. Plus, across our borders, new kingpins are rising. This syndicate won't die with its boss. Basically, you cut the head of Hydra, 2 more grows. Stay vigilant. Alright, boys and girls, that wraps it up for local news. Again, this is not a news channel, I'm just a guy talking, but anyway, bros, we have, globally, a lot has been happening. I don't even consider this a news channel, right? Damn, bruh, the way I have to stay in touch with this shit is just like, it's good because it's eye-opening, right? But it's just like, how do I not become a news channel? I don't want to be a news channel, I'm not a fucking news channel, you know what I'm saying? I'm just talking to the camera. But I also need to have structure while speaking, and I have to fact-check myself. And by fact-checking myself, I have to structure certain things in a certain way. So I have to say certain things, right, to make sure that I'm being factual. I can't be spreading doo-doo caca boo-boo on the internet. But I also feel like I have the obligation to make you aware now that I have this channel, since I'm speaking about these things. If something happens that's drastic, and then also update you with what happened. So anyway, so I say that to say this. Globally, a lot has been happening, and I do not want to sound like a news channel, but play the clip. Alright, story 1. We need to catch up on what is going on with Sean Diddy Combs. It's been a while since we spoke about this, so I'm going to get you up to speed before swiftly moving on to the next story. Okay, so hold on to your seatbelts because Sean Diddy Combs is staring down a legal abyss. Charged with racketeering and ex-trafficking, this man is fighting allegations that could block him away for life. The trial has been a 6-week psychological roller coaster, and it has unleashed an onion of evidence that has everyone's back stinking. So, here is the latest from the last 2 weeks, the weight of it all, and what this means for Diddy's empire. The prosecution has been relentless, piling on evidence like a DJ stacking appa. So, recently, Cassie laid bare allegations of abuse. Her testimony, according to people that were inside of the courtroom, was a masterclass in emotional priming that left the jury reeling. Right? You had texts from 2017 and they read them out in court, and obviously they showed the video of what happened in the hotel with PDD, and then also they showed a slew of messages that sparked Twitter posts, most of the fans being split down the middle. So then the spice entered the stand. What's the name of the spice? Brendan Paul, brother. P. Diddy's former assistant. And this man's testimony was a kakpach, bro. He described wild king nights, freak-offs, where he procured drugs for P. Diddy. He set up hotel rooms for Diddy parties. Paul's claim was that the cocaine that was found on him wasn't actually his cocaine. It was Diddy's cocaine. And that, my dear friends, sent ripples through the courtroom because at this point, Diddy was kind of doing okay. Okay as in not too bad, you know? Well, bad still. This just made it worse, I guess. What made it worse is now everybody in the audience, on the internet, and in the courtroom are now going at it because they're questioning his credibility, you know? Because I found the cocaine on you, but it's not yours. The jurors also saw some explicit footage from 2012 and 2014, and they were watching it in confidence, sealed for the graphic content, allegedly showing coerced freak-offs. But the plot thickened a little bit more like malva pudding because there were some courtroom hiccups. A juror was getting vertigo while in court and it sidelined the proceedings, and another's residency fibs raised eyebrows, like mine stays constantly as I make this video. Anyway, all of this hints at jurors under pressure. And today, June 23rd, 2025, the prosecution is expected to rest, having unleashed a cognitive overload of evidence onto a slew of people, right? So the defense kicks off again tomorrow, with the case likely hitting the jury by week's end. So, what does this mean for P. Diddy? The stakes are cataclysmic, my bro. If Diddy is convicted of any of these crimes, he faces life in prison. His bad boy legacy reduced to a cautionary tale. His brands like Ciroc, already toxic, sponsors fleeing, bro. I mean, to be fair, even Jay's fluid won't scrub the stain, bruh. The entire public's perception has shifted. You do anything a biggie weird, no Diddy. Yeah, you have to say no Diddy. It's just like, and I mean, if you're gonna go buy a bottle of Ciroc, you're gonna have to put it on the table and be like, hey guys, we got a bottle of vodka. Boom, no Diddy is what it is. So yeah, so no sponsorships want to be aligned with that type of blah 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 blah. Take that blah blah blah. Publicity, right? So basically what's happening inside of this courtroom and all over the internet is this Diddy trial is a Rorschach test. Half of the people are seeing a targeted icon and the other half are seeing a fallen king. Either way, P. Diddy's empire is crumbling under the scrutiny. The bigger picture around all of this is that it's just more than just about P. Diddy, my brother. It's a mirror of the underbelly of the famous. The trial exposes power dynamics where charisma can mask manipulation. As the defense steps up tomorrow, the world is watching, primed for a verdict that could ripple through the industry. Will justice prevail, or will P. Diddy's star power pull one more remix? We don't know. But what we do know is there's a bit of a theme happening in Hollywood as we move on to a certain woman by the name of Tyler Perry. Yes, Madea is in the cut. Madea is in the cut. And I know, look, a lot of us are Tyler Perry fans. I am not one for a very long time now. One of the biggest lessons I've learned in my life is from a Tyler Perry movie. Actually a concert where, basically, long story short, you can't appreciate up if you haven't been down, right? Because obviously you don't know what you have until you don't have it anymore, basically. And so it's a story I carry with me. However, there's some things happening in Hollywood. And allow me to break this down. So if you haven't heard, Tyler Perry is being sued for $260 million. Why? Well, boys and girls, hijatos. The genius behind Madea and the $1 million empire is now embroiled in a scandal that could shake Hollywood to its core. Actor Derek Dixon has slapped Perry with a $260 million lawsuit alleging sexual harassment, assault, and retaliation. This is not just a legal battle, this is a clash of titans with reputations on the line. Dixon, who starred in Perry's hit shows The Oval and Ruthless, claims that Perry used his immense power to create a toxic and sexually charged environment. Apparently, the lawsuit details chilling incidents that has transpired. Perry allegedly slipping into bed with Dixon, grabbing his throat in a violent manner, and multiple instances of groping. It's the type of stuff that makes your skin crawl, bruh. Also, keeps your mind racing with questions like, what is it going to be, right? Are we? No way. I don't know, but yeah. Tyler Perry's team is hitting back hard, labeling this lawsuit as a scam, and they vow tooth and nail to fight these allegations as fabricated claims. But, I mean, in today's climate, where the court of public opinion often delivers way faster than any judge could ever think of, because, I mean, let's face it, look what happened to Drake, court of public opinion, baby, kicked from the culture. So, with that being said, the damage might already be irreversible. Social media is ablaze with debates, bro. Mense stry so. Some are supporting Dixon's bravery, other mense are questioning his motives. Obviously, you know, moerse klomp geld that he's suing for. So, this lawsuit taps into deeper power dynamics and issues in Hollywood, almost reminding us about the #MeToo movement, and that movement brought down giants like Harvey Weinstein. The parallels between the two is striking me, bro. Striking, I'm telling you, it's striking. The parallels lay credibility, kind of sort of, to the allegations that Dixon is laying forward. Obviously, for Tyler Perry, this is a nightmare scenario. This man's entire business model is built around family-friendly entertainment. And that, my friends, are making these accusations particularly jarring. If the court sides with Dixon, Tyler Perry could face not only just a financial blow, but also the disintegration of his carefully curated image. Even if he wins this case, it's very hard to get a stain off your jacket if that stain is human feces. Because let's face it, even if you wash the feces off, it's gonna smell for a bit, you know? And who knows, maybe that person ate beetroot. Maybe a bit too graphic there. I'm just saying, skin is scrolling. The whole situation is weird. No Diddy. So yeah, this is affecting Tyler Perry's future endeavors and relationships moving forward, because apparently he was trying to coerce and force Dixon into a gay relationship for career advancements. Obviously, this is going to send red flags out to the industry, and I mean, who's going to want to go and work there, especially if you're a straight man, you know? As these legal proceedings unfold, the world is watching, and we're all wondering if Tyler Perry can actually weather the storm. In the end, this is more than just a lawsuit. It is a test of integrity, power, and the resilience of a man who has built an empire from the ground up. Only time will tell how this chapter in Tyler Perry's story will end. So, our last topic for this video, it's quite an obvious one. You should know. The Middle East is such a volatile place right now. Anything could happen. Some say that World War III has officially kicked off, with Trump attacking Iran being the catalyst. Some are saying that it's still savable, that there's still room for negotiating. I'm going to give you as much information as possible as to what happened and what is happening. Please do not light up the comments with picking sides. I'm not opening room for discussion, you know, each to their own. I'm just here to speak on the matter and let you guys know what has been happening. That's just a disclaimer before I get into this, because I know that this is a very sensitive topic. The Middle East right now is a ticking time bomb. This is a region already simmering with tension, and it now feels like a high-stakes chessboard where every move could trigger a global meltdown. So let's zoom in on the action where the United States, Israel, and Iran are in a dangerous dance of missiles while the world is holding its breath. As it stands now, the United States and Israel have gone all in, launching precision strikes on Iran's nuclear sites, namely Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Not just any random targets, these are the main points of Iran's nuclear ambitions. President Trump has even boasted that Fordo is gone, even though the jury is still out on that one. We're not really sure if him targeting Fordo was successful or not. Iran claims that Fordo is intact, Trump claims that it's not. And Iran is not sitting back quietly either. Shortly after that attack on those three sites, Iran fired back at Israel, striking one of Israel's airports, the Ben Gurion airport, and a research facility, or a few research facilities. The human cost of this is devastating. Iran's Ministry of Health reports that over 400 people were killed, including 13 children, and more than 3,000 were wounded. So this back and forth between these two regions, it's not just a regional spat between the two of these countries. It's a psychological trigger, amplifying fear and uncertainty across the globe with valid reason. Keyword: nuclear. Airlines at this moment are dodging Middle Eastern skies. Countries are evacuating citizens faster than you can say geopolitical crisis. Can you say it? Geopolitical crisis. So, the ripple effect of all of this cath, right? For Israel's allies, primarily the US and the Gulf states like Saudi, this is a red alert moment. Israel citizens are living with a constant threat of missile strikes, and that, I can bet, pushes the amygdala in overdrive. The Gulf nations are wary of Iran's reach, and so they are all bolstering defenses, just knowing that one stray spark can ignite the entire backyard because the grass is dry. If you get what I'm saying, speaking in hyperboles. The United States, meanwhile, is caught in a high-wire act. Support Israel, but don't tip the region into full-out war. It's a classic case of cognitive dissonance, balancing loyalty with restraint. On the other end, Iran's allies like Russia and China are playing a completely different game. They've loudly condemned the United States and Israel strikes on Iran, with China calling for a ceasefire and Russia offering to mediate. North Korea is chiming too, slamming these attacks as a complete violation of sovereignty. But are these three supporters of Iran ready to jump into the fray? Not likely. China is obsessed with energy security at the moment. Half its oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran is obviously now threatening to close down. So chaos would be bad for business. Russia, on the other hand, despite cozying up to Iran with arms deals, doesn't want a war that could mess with its Ukraine campaign. And North Korea, at this moment, their bark is louder than their bite. So, as it stands, how bad is it? For Iran, it's a nightmare. Their nuclear program has taken a beating, so we believe, and more strikes could follow. Economic sanctions are looming, which could obviously have an effect globally, and the civilian death toll is fueling domestic unrest. It is a classic case of learned helplessness. Every move seems to dig a deeper hole. And Israel is not faring much better either. Missile alerts all over the town is a daily reality, and the psychological toll on the citizens is palpable. The United States faces a strategic bind. Deeper involvement into this risks a quagmire. But if they pull back now, it could embolden their adversaries. So yeah, that's them as a catalyst to everything that's already going down there with Hezbollah and the Houthis. But now, the controversy, United States involvement, has sparked heated debate. Some lawmakers are calling these strikes unconstitutional because they were not approved by Congress. On X, opinions are split. Some people see the United States as a bully, and some others see the United States as a necessary check on Iran's ambitions. Now, that divide in itself amplifies the conflict global resonance, making every move on either side a lightning rod for criticism. So, now that we know how volatile the situation is, what happens if allies do decide to get involved? What happens if Russia, China, and North Korea throw their military weight behind Iran? That, my dear friends, is a one-way ticket to a global catastrophe. Potentially, I hate to say it, World War III, and we are on the brink of it. So just imagine conflict stretching from the Middle East to Far East Asia with blockades, cyber warfare. That, my dear friends, in itself is economic collapse. Experts do say that the scenario of all of these countries standing behind Iran is highly unlikely to happen. China's economy thrives on stability. A war would tank their oil imports and their global trade. Russia at the moment is stretched thin in Ukraine and does not want to risk its Iranians' arms supplies by destabilizing Tehran further. North Korea might talk tough, but to be fair, the military of North Korea is more fitted for groundwork than it is for what's happening in the Middle East. That's what we perceive as the public. We're not sure really what North Korea has or does not have. That said, the situation remains volatile though. A misfired missile, a rogue proxy attack, any of these things could change the course of this calculus overnight. And I mean, even neutral players like Qatar and Oman are pushing for calm. It's a high-stakes game of brinkmanship and nobody is eager to go all in. Basically, the Middle East at the moment is a powder keg with Iran, Israel, and the United States trading blows with matches that could spread a wider fire. There are allies on both sides embracing for impact. Saudi Arabia has launched air defenses all across the country. Russia and China are keeping their distance, thankfully favoring words over weapons. The human toll on this is absolutely heartbreaking. Hold up, this is some breaking news. So, while I was editing this video, as it turns out, there was a ceasefire that has been put in place, but then also that ceasefire was broken within 3.5 hours. And then within the same day, about 8 hours later, the ceasefire was adhered to. And I know the situation can be frustrating. This is what Donald Trump had to say shortly before we confirmed that the ceasefire is actually being adhered to.
Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you have a response to Iran?
That's what I always believe in. Being aware allows you to prepare. Anyway, whew, I will see you guys for another video later this week. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Yeah, man, today's episode was a bit hectic. Happy that we're in South Africa, so that we a bit away from all of this. But do understand, the petrol price is gonna fucking go through the ceiling soon because of all of this bullshit. I hope that you have nobody in the Middle East. Let's all hope that all of this cuck ends soon, so that we can go back to normal living. Anyway, my name has been Chad. It's been real. Thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe, my bro. It's gonna take me to ask you another 15 to 20 more times to subscribe. But if you can now, you can do it now. But if you don't want to do it now, do it now. Anyway, yeah, my name is Chad. It's been real. Catch you on the next episode of After Daily. Alright, yeah, boy. Trappen van per gefokken lijken.